Assalamualaikum. Hello, my name is Aida Humaira binti Rosmadi, and today I will be presenting to you about the differentiation between holistic and analytical rubric. Without further ado, before we pursue or we go in depth about the holistic and also analytical rubric, let us see what is actually this scoring rubrics about. So, in order to assess and convey expectations for performance on a given task or even works, educators, teachers utilize scoring rubrics, which are the structured evaluation tools comprising descriptors and performance level, also the criteria. It also offers a clear uniform system for the grading. The main component of performance, such as organization, clarity, or content, are represented by criteria. The level of performance show the spectrum from above average to below average, and descriptors provide thorough justifications for every levels, guaranteeing uniformity in the grading process. Besides, scoring rubrics comes in two primary varieties, which are we going to talk about it, which are the holistic and also analytical. So, analytical, we go for analytical first. So, the analytical, which divides evaluation into discrete criteria, and while the holistic, which gives a single score for overall performance. So, with the use of these rubrics, expectations are made clear to both students and evaluators, improving the clarity and transparency. Besides, they also facilitate the evaluation process and encouraging the uniformity in grading. Let's take a look at the differentiation between holistic and analytical rubric. So, as for holistic rubric, it is actually a scoring tool that assesses the overall quality or performance of a task or assignment. It provides a single global based score on the overall impression of the work without breaking down into specific criteria or any dimensions. So the first criteria is it is actually a single score rubric, which means that it assigns a single comprehensive score to the entire piece of work, reflecting the overall quality or achievement. The next one is it is a global based assessment, which means that the focus is on the overall impressions or general performance of the work rather than on specific criteria. The third one is it is actually efficient in it is actually efficient for grading large volume of work, making them suitable for situations where a quick and broad assessment is needed. The next one is the simplicity of it. This holistic rubric is actually relatively simple to develop and use, requiring the creation of the only one set of criteria. However, after these four criteria, which also shows that it is actually the pros of this rubric, it also have the cons, which is the bad side or the weakness of this rubric use, which is one of it is limited feedbacks. So holistic rubrics may provide limited feedbacks to the students, to the pupils, since they do not break down the assessment into specific criteria. Why did I say this is actually a weakness of this rubric? Because the students are not be able to know what are the improvements or what are lack the lack of maybe like if is there any grammar errors in their tasks in their essays, so they will not know the specific problem that caused them to lose marks on this task. So I would say that that is a weakness or a cons of this holistic rubric. So moving on to the analytical rubric, this analytical rubric is a scoring tool that breaks down the assessment, the task, into multiple criteria or dimensions. Why did I say that? So let's take a look at the characteristic is it have the multiple criteria where it assess different dimensions or criteria separately, providing a detailed examination of various aspects of performance. So the next one is it is a specific, it gives specific feedback. um, Compared to the holistic rubric, this analytical rubric give the specific feedback, which they provide specific and detailed feedback for each criteria assessed, which also means that it will help the students, the people, to understand and to analyze what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, and what are the improvements that they can make to actually achieve a higher grades for the future, in the future. And then the next one is the transparency. This analytic rubric offers transparency and assessment by clearly outlining the expectations for each criteria. Also, this transparency benefits both students and instructor themselves in understanding the components of the successful performance. The next one is fairness. So this rubric may be perceived as a fairer by students because they provide a clearer breakdown of the assessment. You can see what are the criteria needed, how far, or maybe like how good should they do in the assessment to get the high grades, because it will demonstrating the various aspects that are considered. So the last one and but not least is the complexity. As for complexity, this rubric can be more complex and time-consuming compared to holistic rubric. So this is one of the weakness that analytical rubric have because it is time-consuming to actually analyze one by one what are the mistakes, what are the points that the students have in the essay. Because it involves specifying criteria, as I said, and level of performance for each criteria. All right, so this is the questions that I took for as example for you to see, which I took from part one in the paper two English paper exam for the secondary school. So as for this part, the students are required to write or to return an email to the friends. As for this part is English speaking friends, Alex, and yeah, students must write it not more than 80 words and within 20 minutes. This is the example of students' answer for this part one assessment. So this where this girl have wrote back the email to this Alex, and you can see it's already been evaluated by the teachers, and we will see the rubrics later. Alright, so this is the example of the holistic rubric that I will use to examine or to analyze or to give marks to the assessment previously. So this is score which consists of four stage or four score, what we call score levels, which is consists of poor, weak, good, and excellent. So let's take a look at the excellent first, which consists of 16 to 20 marks. So why? How would the student get this high marks? So the students must make sure that all content is relevant to the task. It is also target readers is fully informed, uses the conventions of the communicative styles to hold the target reader's attention. Also, the next is text is generally well organized, uses a range of everyday vocabulary, uses a range of simple and some complex grammatical forms, and last but not least is errors do not impede communication. So meaning that the students make very less errors in their writing essay. So the third one is good good level, which consists of 11 to 15 marks. So how would they get this type of marks is by doing minor irrelevance and omissions may be presented. Target readers is on the whole informed, produces a text that communicates straightforward ideas using simple connectors and limited number of cohesive devices, use vocabulary appropriately, use simple forms, and also while errors are noticeable, the meaning can still be determined, which means like very less of the errors made. Alright, for this last two level, which is weak and also very weak. So for the weak is the students will get between 6 to 10 marks. So why would they get this? It's because of the irrelevance and misinterpretation of tasks that they did, and also the target reader is minimally informed, and they also produce a text that communicates simple ideas in a simple way. They do not evenly describe it in detail, and also the text is not connected using basic connectors, use basic vocabulary, and also the errors may impede meaning at times. So as you can see that it is actually like the stairs, because it's getting higher or even or maybe lower. So as for the weak, the mistakes are more, of course, more than the good and excellence level. And as they are going on, as the educator is going to give the higher mark, So the lesser mistakes should be done by the students. And also for the very weak, of course, the content is basically it is totaled out. The content is not relevant to be used, and target reader is not informed. So very weak is a thing that educators very afraid of, that the students might actually achieve because of their own performance during the examination. Alright, so this is the analytical rubric which I would use to analyze or to give the evaluation to my students or to the previous tasks that I shown before. So as you can see, this analytical rubric have very specific criteria that they need the students to accomplish or to reach. For example, as I stated here, the content, the grammar and mechanics, organization, and also the voice. So as for analytical rubric, it has very precise of the need that they have to reach, or for the students to actually follow the rubrics evenly so that they will get the higher marks. Alright. So it have or it consists of four levels over here, which are the beginning, developing, exemplary, and accomplished. So let's take a look briefly here. So the beginning level, of course, portrays that the students does not state the main ideas clearly, and which means that we can see the proficiency of their English proficiency are actually below from the par. Alright, so the developing levels is increasing from the beginning level, so it is a better way, or it is a better task or result from the student, which is they play a topic and the main ideas are somewhat clear, which is better from the beginning. And for the exemplary, it is clearer than the developing level. Main ideas are clear, but of course it is not perfect enough, so they are not well supported by detailed information. And as for accomplished, that will give 16 to 20 marks, is the one that is clear, well focused topic, and also the main ideas are better than exemplary, which are detailed and have the accurate information, well supported evidence. Alright, so for the grammar and mechanics, we have lots of spelling errors, punctuation errors, grammatical errors, and it's also will get better for the developing, exemplary, and accomplished. So this is the analytical rubric that I believe are useful for the students, because it is very important for the students to actually know what are the weaknesses, what are the holes that they need to fix in order to fix, or in order to get a better academic result in future. To sum up this presentation, I would say that I would prefer for the educators to use the analytical rubric, even though it have the specific detail, even though it will take some time to evaluate your students, but it will surely give a bigger impact for the students, as they will know what are the holes that they need to fix, what are the strengths that they need to maintain in the essay, and also to improve in order to reach, or in order to obtain the better result for the future test. Also, the differentiation of holistic and analytical rubric is that the generally is holistic rubric as gives a complete piece of work, that a single overall score or grades that represent its overall quality, achievement, and performance without breaking down into particular criteria, which is very different from this analytical rubric, which I really like, because it offers detailed feedback for every element that is evaluated, which will give the pupils to see or to better understand what are the areas of strength and growth with the help of this in-depth feedback. That's all from me. Thank you so much, Dr. Effendi, for this golden opportunity.